Hi, Aaron with Growlon. Today I'm going to be doing a quick little demonstration on Manuscript and Tribute Total for Dallisgrass Control. It's September 11th, 2020, and what I've done is I put a gallon of water in this Manuscript jug that we're going to use, and then I have my Tribute Total over there. I want to mix these in front of everybody just so there's no scams. You guys know who I'm talking about too. There's some videos going on right now on YouTube, and I'm not going to mention any names, but you know who I'm talking about. So first of all, I got 1 gallon of water. I'm going to mix this Manuscript up, and it says to use Monument with it, so I'm going to use 2 of these packets. Each one of these packets is 0.5 grams. So I'm going to come back after this initial treatment in about 30 days, and I'm going to treat it again and do a follow-up application, and then I'm going to only use 1 packet of Monument in that one. So, but for today's demonstration, I'm going to put 2 packets of Monument in this 1 gallon of water. I've also added ammonium sulfate to this water. We started with a pH of about 7.4, 7.5, somewhere in there. That's Burleson, Texas water. Fort Worth water is going to be around 7.8, 7.9, depending on what day it is. But so I got my Monument in there, and now I'm going to mix up my Manuscript. I have 0.96 ounces per gallon of Manuscript. I put them in these tip and pour, so when I'm out in the field, I can measure accurately. And with this Manuscript, it comes with this surfactant called Adigor. You could probably put this in your gas tank and run your car off this sucker. It really smells like gas, but it's 0.64 ounces per gallon of this Adigor surfactant. And again, I got my water to a pH of 6.5 before I started, and I used ammonium sulfate to get there. So I have all my products in here, and I have my sprayer labeled so I don't get confused. I have a property in Crowley, Texas that we're going to treat today, and one in Burleson. I live in Burleson, so both of those properties are close to my house. So here's my ammonium sulfate. I didn't use this much, but I probably used about, used about that much in about 2 gallons of water, and it got me to the 6.5 pH. So here is our Tribute Total. Here are my rates. I'm going to be putting 3.2 milliliters in a gallon of water. I've filled this up to 2 gallons, so I'm going to be actually putting 6.4 milliliters in this, because I go through a lot more Tribute Total. I'm going to use this for other stuff, just not today's demonstration. You can always use Tribute Total on large crabgrass, nutsedge, buttonweed, that sort of thing. Gosh, I hope this is 6.
That was 6.
That's 6? Okay, I wasn't counting. Yes, I wanted 6 of those. And I want 0.5 ounces of methylated seed oil per gallon. So I'm going to need 1 ounce in this 2 gallons of water. So that's pretty close. That's real close to 1 ounce. That's as close as I can get. And again, I added the ammonium sulfate to these, both of these before we started. So I did that behind the scenes. So then I'm just going to put this lid on here like this. Give it a shake. And my truck's really not this dirty ever, is it, dear?
It's always that dirty.
So these are going to lay down for the ride. Stay tuned. See you at the properties. All right, so now we've just arrived at this property in Crowley, Texas, and this area right here is full of Dallisgrass. I would say it's a 90% Dallisgrass. So I'm going to start with the Tribute Total. I'm going to work my way this way. I'm going to use about 1.5 gallons. I'm going to save a half a gallon for the next property. The next property doesn't have nearly as much Dallisgrass. So I'm going to spray 1.5 gallons of Tribute Total, and I'm going to work my way this way. I'm going to leave an area where we don't treat, and then I'm going to use the Manuscript. Now, I'm only going to spray but over here to here, and I'm going to leave this area alone, and I'm not going to do anything to it. Yeah, it kills Dallisgrass and then takes tattoos off. That's a joke. Don't rub it on your tattoo. Yeah, that was a joke. Just so if I hear from your attorney, the Attigore is the Attigore that smells. Now there's a little bit of St. Augustine in this little area. I'm not supposed to use this actually. If you want to get real technical, you can only use Manuscript in sod farms, and so this is not a sod farm, obviously. Yeah, anything else, right? There's a little bit of Bermuda in here, so not a lot there's going to be, but it'll give a chance for the rest of the grass to fill in when it doesn't have to compete with this Dallisgrass in 2021. Now I'm going to stop at this line right here. So when I was going this way, I know I didn't get all the way up to this line, so I'm just going to kind of go down here and make sure that I have a fairly straight line, and then we can compare the 3 different areas when, like in a month from now, and eventually in like basically 2 months from now when this video is complete and we have our results. We'll go from there. Okay, so right through here is where we're stopping. So from here over, we're not going to do anything. And I'm going to go hit these areas over on this part of the lawn. If I have enough, I need some other. Actually, you know what? Yeah, there's a lot over there. See, this is blue stem. This is not going to do anything to this blue stem, so I'm not going to spray the blue stem. But I am going to spray the Dallisgrass. And the blue stem, the only control for that is Roundup. If anybody tries to sell you on something that is going to kill your blue stem and it's not glyphosate, hide your wallet. Here's crabgrass. I'm not going to spray the crabgrass. Even though Manuscript is labeled for crabgrass, I'm not going to spray it. I don't think I'm going to have enough Manuscript and Monument to do much on the next one. We'll see. There's also some clover over here. This would take care of that too. I think I'm done. I think I'm actually going to hit it. Some wood sorrel over here. I'm going to hit that too. Very common in these shady areas. That's blue stem over there. All right, I think I've got all the Dallisgrass I want to treat on this one. Last one. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so now we're at the property in Burleson with the Dallisgrass problem. And so I'm going to spray half of this yard with Tribute, and then I'm going to use the other half Manuscript. And so right now I'm going to start with the Tribute. I did have to mix up another batch in the back of the truck, so I did run out of the other property. And so the Manuscript for this property won't have Monument in it. And I did text the customer and I asked them not to mow for at least 2 days. Because if you treat this and you cut all the parts off that you treated, by mowing it, it's not going to work. So if you're in the lawn care business and you have a technician or yourself, you're treating a yard and it's Thursday or Friday, and you know you're coming up on the weekend and the yard needs to be mowed, I'd send your customer a personal text message from, probably from your phone. Just say, hey, I treated your, fill in the blank weed. Don't mow for a couple days or longer. All right, so I'm gonna stop right here, and then I'm gonna go. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spray this side of the yard with Tribute and that side with Manuscript. Because there's a lot over there. Good thing about this Tribute Total is I can hit the nut sedge. There's some Star of Bethlehem coming up. Probably not gonna kill that. You'll see that Star of Bethlehem come up after periods of a lot of rain. Usually in the spring and the fall, you'll see it pop up. I don't really treat a whole lot of it. It's not a huge problem in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But I think Star of Bethlehem, I think you would treat that with Dismiss. Don't quote me on that. Look that up for yourself. So if you have Star of Bethlehem, read the label of Dismiss. So these areas over here, these little brown areas over here and over here, that's drought stress. That's not fungus. So Bermuda grass lawns don't get fungus in the summertime. Just ask a golf course superintendent how often they apply fungicides to their fairways, and they're going to tell you never. But there's a lot going around on certain Facebook groups and that sort of thing, and people are putting a lot of this disease X out for, things that aren't disease. And it happens quite often. Like, for example, this is fairy ring. This mushrooms right here, that doesn't hurt your grass. You don't need a fungicide for that. It'll go away when it dries out. Now, a couple of things you do have to worry about with fairy ring is the yard or the ground, the soil getting hydrophobic. So that is a concern. It's a mild concern. It's not something I would worry about. In that case, if it did get hydrophobic, you just spread a wetting agent on it and until the problem goes away, and you're good to go. So I'm just going to go back and hit this area. So I stopped right here. I'm just going ahead and finish this area out, and then I'm going to treat the other side of the driveway with the Manuscript. And again, that's the Manuscript that doesn't have any monument in it. The other property in Crowley that it had a Manuscript and monument. And I'm optimistic of the results. Now this is blue stem. I'm not going to spray the blue stem. Be a waste of time. Again, there's no selective control for blue stem. Oh, switch. Whoa. I used right about a gallon. So I was talking about earlier the importance of adding ammonium sulfate to your spot treatment mix and your herbicides in general. And the reason why I do that, two reasons. Why, when I'm spot treating, it increases the efficacy by forcing the plant to grow. The plant's going to take up more of the product, and then it balances out the pH in the water. So if I mix up this Manuscript or Tribute Total or insecticides or that sort of thing, it has what's called a half-life. So if I mix up this product now, tomorrow it's going to be half as effective. But if I can get my pH of the water correct, the product will last longer. At Growlawn, we mix up these spot treatment doses in these 1 to 2 gallon jugs so we can keep our product fresh. So a technician will typically fill up 2 to 3 times a day for this spot treatment canister anyway. Not the big tanks. They fill up once a day with those. But these kind of backpack sprayers, they might fill up a couple times a day. Ooh, this is heavy over here. But if you're just starting out in lawn care, and let's say you only have a few lawns to do in a day and you want to mix up a gallon of Tribute or something, adding some of the ammonium sulfate to balance out the water pH, I mean, you'll get a couple more days out of it. I wouldn't sit on it for too long because it is going to fade on you. And this is true for insecticides too. Like our mosquito control, we don't add ammonium sulfate to it, but we'll add vinegar to the water because the pH of the water of Fort Worth, the water we use for our chemicals that grow lawn, is around 7.8 or 7.9. And so we have a certain amount of vinegar that we add to our mosquito spray. And we also keep it fresh. Before we leave out in the morning, we mix it up fresh every morning, and it doesn't sit. And we only mix enough up to do that particular route that day and maybe 1 or 2 extra customers. So if we fill up, like say for example 100 gallons, we may only come back with 10 gallons at the end of the day. So stay tuned and let's see the results on this Dallisgrass. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, because I'm about out of manuscript. So this side Manuscript, that side Tribute. Got it. All right, so I'm back at the Crowley property. It's week 2, and over here is where I sprayed the Tribute Total. You can see it's really stunted the growth of the Dallisgrass and the Bermuda grass too. I must have missed this spot right here. What I meant to say is I definitely missed that spot. So you can see that the Dallisgrass growth is very stunted. It works on stunting the growth very fast, but whether it's going to kill it or not remains to be seen. We'll see. This is just week 2. I have another application scheduled for 2 weeks from now. Here's the Manuscript on this side. The leaves are purple in some of the areas. The growth is very stunted, just like the Tribute Total. And then here's the control over here. I say control, the part that we didn't treat. So this demonstrates how much the Dallisgrass has been stunted because of this growth here. I'll get down so you can maybe see it better. So that's what the Dallisgrass looks like now, the untreated area, and then over here is the area that we treated. See you in 2 weeks. Here's the area that I sprayed with Manuscript by itself about 25 days ago. Some of the areas are affected, but most of it's just still pretty green. I did check on this property several days after the application, and it looked like it got mowed within 48 hours. So probably what happened was a lot of the area that got treated got cut off by the mower, so the product didn't have time enough to translocate down to the root system. So that's why you're seeing this is not working so good. This Dallisgrass is pretty green. It's a little stunted, but not bad. The weather's also cooling down too, so that's going to have a lot of effect on the growth of the Dallisgrass, just like the Bermuda. The Bermuda's slowing down also. All these warm season plants are going to start really slowing down. It's the first part of October 2020. So that's the Manuscript side. We go over here to the Tribute Total side. This side looks a lot better. They did not, I know they didn't mow this part because the day that I came and checked, it still hadn't been mowed. And the Dallisgrass looks a lot sicker on this side. So I'm not sure if the customer told their lawn mowing service not to mow or not. They might have caught them just in time right before they mowed this section, but this section is looking a lot better. And this is with the Tribute Total by itself. I'm sorry, it's not Tribute Total by itself, it's Tribute Total and Monument mixed together. Here's another one. And then a lot of the Dallas grass that was off in this section of the yard, it's still there. It looks as sick as the other, but it's just below the canopy of the Bermuda grass. And it's fair to say that this customer needs to mow more often. It's their yard. And these spots are just drought stressed. Over here, there's no fungus, and don't get me started on fungus and Bermuda grass. But this is blue stem over here. Glyphosate is the only control for this, or dig it up. And the reason why they're having such a problem with blue stem is because this little ninny muggin right here, this is, oh gosh, that is at least 60%, maybe 70% blue stem. And then up by the house is Dallas grass. So if you have a yard like this, we can't help you. You're gonna have to start all over. And then the parkway here is all Dallas grass. And then we get into our customer right here is struggling with a little bit of Dallas grass. So this is day 25. I'll be back in a couple days to reapply the tribute in the manuscript. Hi, welcome back to the Tribute Total versus Manuscript. Welcome back to the Tribute Total versus Manuscript demonstration. So I'm going to mix the products again in front of you. So what we have here is we have the Adigore and the Manuscript, and we also have some Monument here. And so I'm going to put my Monument in right now, and this is just one packet and 2 gallons of water. All right, and so for my Adigore, if you want to get up really close and show them this, so there's no scams. All right, no scamming. Adigore going in, 2 gallons of water. I already put my ammonium sulfate in both of those. Here's the Manuscript. So this one's got Manuscript, Monument, and the Adigore surfactant. Then I'm gonna make sure the lid's tight. Lay that down for transport. And then now we have our Tribute Total here. 2 gallons of water. Already has the ammonium sulfate in there. pH is about 6.5. And we're gonna put 6 of these. I hope you're counting. And you want these to level off, you don't want them going over.
That's 6.
6. Good to go on that. Now, also have 2 gallons of water in this. And so I'm gonna need about a half an ounce of methylated seed oil per gallon. And so this one's got 1 ounce. Right? Yep. So this has all of our goodies in it. And we're gonna go to the Crowley property first. It's just right down the street. Both properties are just right down the street from our house. It's Friday, October, what's today's date? 9th. October 9th, so it's been 4 weeks exactly since we did the initial application. Lay this one down for transport. We'll see you at the properties. This is a St. Augustine part that I didn't treat the first time, but I'm just gonna go ahead and treat it. We'll just have to live with some stressed out St. Augustine. All right, so right here through here is the Manuscript side, Manuscript and Monument. So one of the important factors with weed control is that the plant needs to be actively growing and not under stress, and that would include drought stress. Today's October 9th. We haven't had any rain in the last month, well, since the last time I've been here, and this area looks very drought stressed and hadn't had a lot of water. And so that's going to play a big factor on the effectiveness of this application. And we're going to do a soil moisture probe test here in a minute, just to show. I would like to have had this yard watered. I know they didn't mow it within 48 hours of the application, so that's good, but I am worried that, you know, it's not getting enough water, and that's going to have a negative effect on the application. So this is the area that we're leaving alone so we can show what it looked like when we started and what the percentage of Dallisgrass was. All right, I'm going to switch back to my Tribute Total because I used that on the other side of the yard over there the first time, so I'm going to use that on over there again. I forgot about that section. All right. I'm not going to mess with the blue stem. Here's a bunch of blue stem. This isn't going to do anything for that. It's hard to see the Dallisgrass because it's under the canopy. I don't really see any over here. I'm gonna have to put a GPS tracker on each plant so I don't miss any. I can definitely tell a difference between the sprayers, one that has a filter in it and the one that doesn't. Definitely take the filter out of this thing because it is much better without. There's a little filter that goes in the bottom of the tank and it's getting in my way. Looks like they cut down a tree here. Obviously. Yeah, so if you're wondering if Tribute Total will get rid of clover, it will. I do not see that Dallisgrass is hiding from me. There was only a few of them over here, but I know they're here. There's one. Actually, that's blue stem, which this Tribute Total is not going to do anything to that, so don't get your hopes up. Man, I can't believe I can't see it. I know one application in Tribute didn't knock it out. Yeah, there wasn't that many up here, but you can see some right here, some. Here's the crabgrass that we sprayed last time. It's all gone. So it must have been large crabgrass. Tribute's good for large crabgrass, and pretty much that's about it. If you spray your crabgrass with Tribute and it doesn't die, it wasn't large crabgrass. There's about 9 different kinds of crabgrass in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and large crabgrass is one of them. Probably most common. So what happens in the Dallas-Fort Worth area every year is that it's always hot in the summer, 100 degrees, and people are trying to keep up with their watering, and their water bills are high, and we get a weather front come through in September, and it rains for like 3 or 4 days, and then everybody turns off their sprinkler systems for the rest of the season. And this is what happens. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna test the moisture real quick. So if you call your lawn care company and you say, hey, my weed application is not working, and your turf manager asks, all right, are you watering? And you go, yeah, guess what? They're gonna come and check. I would say that is pretty dry. Pretty dry. It's not like it's the middle of August kind of dry, but it definitely hasn't been watered, and the last water this got was the last time it rained, which is about a month ago. All right. So we got all that sprayed and whatnot. Let's head to the Burleson property. All right, I'm gonna start with the tribute. We are at the Burleson property now. It does look like the Dallisgrass is hiding under that canopy. This is all just covered in Dallisgrass before.
Yeah, it wasn't hiding last time.
No. Yeah, this customer is not a fan of edging every week. All right, so now I'm just gonna look for the Dallisgrass over here. It was kind of hit or miss in this part of the yard. They mowed the grass too tall, way too tall. I think I must have missed that one last time because it was still pretty green. So we could do a little Rio Mambo trick to where we just walk in and go sit right at the bar on the patio and not have to wait an hour. So if you're in Burleson and it's a Friday and you're gonna go eat at the busy time, which is like between 6:30 and 7:30, just go right to the patio bar. You'll sit right down. You wipe out all the nutsedge. Of course, this isn't a video on nutsedge, but if you're wanting to kill nutsedge, Tribute Total will do it. It's the sedge hammer that's in the product that's working on the nutsedge. So Tribute Total is a combination of Celsius, sedge hammer, and revolver. And the revolver part of it's the why you can't use it on St. Augustine. So if you want to make your own version of kind of Tribute Total that's safe for St. Augustine, you could just mix sedge hammer and Celsius together. I'm not sure that would kill Dallisgrass, but yeah, the nutsedge is definitely all gone. Kudos to the sedge hammer in this product. Yeah, all right, so I'm gonna go get the manuscript. And these kids over there playing over there probably think I'm some kind of movie star or something. Who's that fat guy over there spraying that stuff? All right, before we do spray the manuscript, we're gonna do a soil moisture test and compare the Crowley to the Burleson. Man, this one's worse. Check that out. That's all the soil moisture we got, boys and girls. So yeah, these applications would work a lot better if the plants are more actively growing. All right, now for the manuscript. Now on the other side, I do think that they mowed within 2 days of the application. Because I came by here to check on it, just kind of randomly drove by, and I noticed that that section over there was mowed, but this wasn't. This wasn't mowed over here, but that was. So I'm not sure what happened there, but maybe, yeah, maybe the neighbors came over and now the difference in this one is the first time I didn't have monument in this one on this side. So I have monument in it this time. So this didn't really get phased at all. It was mowed off, so it's not the product's fault. So maybe we shouldn't judge this section over here, but I'm gonna spray it anyway. All right, so now we're done with this Burleson property. This side was the Tribute Total side. This side was the manuscript. Stay tuned, we'll be back in a month.